SEC lawsuit is officially over. The news broke yesterday on X. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, made a post. And this is something that we have been waiting for a very, 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 very long time. Because I read all your guys' comments, and a lot of you guys absolutely love XRP. I think XRP is okay. I've got a bag of it, and we cover it a lot because it is my personal opinion, the second largest crypto in the world as far as popularity goes. And it's just a very interesting asset in general. And I also, too, want to just really thank Ripple for directly going head to head with the SEC, because they had the means, they had the money, they had the ability. And the case really at the end of the day, even though it was terrible, even though it was unjust, even though it was just absolutely atrocious behavior from the public servants of the USA, they made it so crypto or XRP is not a security on the secondary market, and that benefits all of crypto, whether you love XRP or not. You don't have to like it, but I think we should at least acknowledge Ripple for their fight. We don't have to like all their fundamentals. We don't have to like Brad Garlinghouse. We don't have to like Larson. We don't have to like the way they run the project. But at the end of the day, just because we have differences doesn't mean that we still can't appreciate what they did. And on top of it, I do personally think Ripple's ecosystem will continue to do well. They're very, very tuned into traditional finance, working with them. And to those of you that have been holding through all these years, I personally think that things will be okay. And I've been holding, I had a small moon bag in 2018 that I made in 2017. And I've had, XRP over the years. Nothing crazy like most of you, but I've got a little bit. So let's go ahead and cover what happened with the lawsuit. I did a short for you guys yesterday, but I want to do something a little bit more longer form. And then I'm going to talk to you about what I think is going to happen with XRP and really just crypto in general, because we really haven't seen an altcoin season. And we do know that every single cycle is a little bit different. I've been here since end of 2017. Most of you are here from last cycle, 2020, 2021, 2022 with NFT boom. And those of you that are here today, I'm so happy you guys are here, that you found the channel, that you found crypto. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts. But let's go ahead and talk about what's happening, because there's a lot. There's a lot. And I have a theory of what's going to happen next. So I'm going to read you guys the little titty bitties over here, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on what I'm expecting from the market to happen quarter 3, quarter 4, which is something we talked about heavily. So Ripple to drop appeal in XRP case, SEC to follow. So Ripple has officially dropped their appeal in the case. They're not going to appeal. They're just done. Just done. Absolutely under. And then the only thing we're waiting for is for the SEC to chime in and say, we're going to drop it as well. And you do have to understand, so the lawsuit technically is not over yet if you're going to look at that technicality, but at the end of the day, Ripple's done. They're having very clear communication with the SEC. This current SEC wants it to be done too. They don't want to go after crypto companies. They want the Genius Act to go through. They want the Clarity Act to go through. They want crypto companies to be able to operate in the USA, and they want to give them clear guidelines, which is something we've never seen before, okay? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and finish it over here. So we're just waiting for the SEC to officially drop their appeal as well, and it's probably going to happen. That's what Brad Garlinghouse came out and say. Ripple will drop its cross appeal in the years-long battle with the SEC over XRP, with the SEC also planning to drop its own appeal to end the case, because again, both sides have to. SEC unjustly sued Ripple back in 2020, alleging it raised $1.3 billion by selling unregistered securities through XRP. 2023, a Judge Torres ruled that XRP sales to retail investors and on the secondary market are not securities. Again, that's case President. It's law. So XRP is not a security on the secondary market. It is not a security to retail. And hopefully this type of legal opinion in court or case law opinion will transcend throughout the entire industry. That's the biggest key thing. Because again, retail gets left out a lot, and we got a massive victory here. 2023, judge ruled that XRP sales to retail investors are not securities, but $728 million in institutional sales were, leading to a $125 million penalty, far below the $2 billion originally sought by the SEC, which is freaking crazy. And I think Binance set the record for the highest fine paid in America for anything in general. I think it was $4 billion. I think the $125 million penalty is kind of stupid too, primarily because sales to retail were not securities, but sales to institutional sales were. And we're talking about institutions and accredited investors, whatever. They get special privileges because they have money, okay? Because if you are accredited investor, means that you have accredited investor and above means that you make $250,000 per year and you have over $1 million in assets. Most Americans don't have that because look at the freaking shape of the economy. But with that being said, with that being said, I don't understand why they're really going after the institutional sales, because really at the end of the day, they are supposed to be smarter than us, more well versed than us. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I'm nobody. Ripple and the SEC recently failed in their attempt to lower the fine further. So basically what ended up happening is that Ripple and the SEC were jointly working together under Paul Atkins, and they were like, hey, we want to drop this case. We want this to be over. We want, yeah, guys, boys, make sure you guys smash the like. That helps me. But we don't want the fine to be 125 million. We want it to be 50 million. And we want XRP to be able to have access to accredited, be able to have access to institutional sales, which is a big part of Ripple's business model. But at the end of the day, Ripple is like, nope, we're not doing it. We're just done. Okay. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said the decision will close this chapter after they drew their appeal, and once and for all. And the company shifts focus back to building XRP related infrastructure. And this is from Brad Garlinghouse, and literally everywhere. So what does this mean in my, like, what do I think is happening? I personally think that that we will. I think that Ripple was just tired of fighting. I was a little bit caught off guard. Because I thought that they were going to appeal because institutional sales is very important to them. So there's got to be some weird caveat. There has to be something we don't know about. But again, Stewart from the Ripple CLL says, the ball's in our court. We're in control. We can do what we want to do. And I thought after reading that they were going to appeal, but instead continue the appeal. And then they ended up not appealing. So that kind of sucks because of the institutional sales. But at the end of the day, their team, their legal, they know they know more of what's going on privately than we do, because there's always these little things happening. Okay. Now, with that being said, I think that we are finally going to get that XRP spot ETF. I think that's one of the reasons why they did it. They're probably like, you know what, instead of fighting, we want to get this done. We want that XRP spot ETF approved because there's multiple companies in the United States of America that have applied for these. And it's going to bring a mass amount of liquidity into the market. It's been anticipated it's going to bring in anywhere between about $8 billion per crypto spot ETF. So that's a lot of money. That's going to boost the market cap like crazy. Plus, we have the Genius Act, which is a stablecoin bill that's going to get approved. People are saying it's going to bring like $2 trillion in, or I believe that was what they said, even a lot more. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's a very interesting post from an ETF analyst, and it kind of proves my thought about this. He says, chapter closed on this clears the way for a spot XRP ETF, also clears the way for BlackRock to jump in. This is from Nate Gararce, he's a big ETF guy. So, from traditional finance, big ETF guy. And I personally think that he's right. I don't think that the SEC was going to approve the XRP spot ETF until, or not the SEC. Yeah, the SEC. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think it was going to get approved until the lawsuit was dropped. So I think Brad Garlinghouse like, you know what? We've got some stuff up our sleeves, and we want to get this pushed through. So this aligns with the thesis we've been talking about on the O Show, the channel you guys are watching now, that we're going to have, that all these ETFs are going to get approved in quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2025. And I personally believe that that's going to kick off some sort of altcoin season. So those are my thoughts. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I read all the comments. Make sure to drop one after you've watched this as to what you think is going to happen. But I really think we're going to get that XRP spot ETF, and we're going to see BlackRock file for an XRP spot ETF. And I think BlackRock is going to get involved with Ripple's ecosystem, RLUSD, XRPL, and XRP, of course. So that's my opinion. And again, you guys, congratulations to the XRP army. I'm very, very happy for you. I was feeling really, really sorry for you guys, not in like a mean way, but in like a, this sucks, like delay. So I'm so happy this is over with. Sending you guys love and light. And I've got another short dropping for you guys on the channel around 1 p.m. about something really interesting. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to get more and set alerts. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.